started our Black Ministries in 2013 as a director of the Sunshine Clubs, which is their children's ministry. But I wanted to get involved in the fatherhood programs. You see, my father left before I was born, and I grew up without a father, so I know how important it is to have a father in a child's life. And that's something I want to stress to other fathers, that need that they have to be in the kids' lives, and just how important it really is. So I took classes and I became an instructor in Pops 101, Love Notes, On My Shoulders, and Father Love. But in this video, I'm going to give you an overview of what we discussed in Lesson 2 of our Pops 101. Now, if you saw Lesson 1, then you know that our Pops 101 is an introductory course that's divided into 4 lessons. Why Dads Matter, Fathers as Protector, Fathers as an Order Keeper, and Fathers as a Provider, and the 4th lesson, Fathers as a Stabilizer. But before we get into our overview of Lesson 2, let me preface it with a word on a couple things that have affected our nation and our children. First, the coronavirus, or the COVID-19. This virus has thrown our communities into chaos and ushered in a season of fear and confusion, especially with our children. Their schools are closed prematurely and in many cases robbing our children of that normal closure they get at the end of the school year, for instance, saying goodbye to their teachers or their friends. Their daily structures have been upended, and extracurricular activities both with the school and during summer break have been canceled. So with our children's normal routines having been so completely turned upside down, they struggle to comprehend what is going on. They have questions. Why can't I go to my friend's house? Why can't I play Little League? Why can't I do gymnastics? They struggle with the fear of the unknown and what is going to happen, and what will their life be like, and will things ever go back to the way they were, or even the prospect of losing a loved one to this virus. These are just to name a few of the questions kids have. We as adults have questions, so we have to know our kids have questions. Our children desperately need us right now to be the best dads that we can be. Secondly, we now find our country once again gripped with the ugly face of systemic racism, hate, and division. It is our job to teach our children right from wrong. Hate and racism is a learned behavior. If you see little kids playing on a playground, they play with each other regardless of skin color. Why? Because they see each other as God sees us, not by what is on the outside, but what is in the heart. They don't see skin color, they just see another kid. This is why Yeshua, or Jesus, tells us in Matthew 18:3, "Truly I say to you, unless you are converted and become like the children, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven." You see, children are innocent, and they see the world through those innocent eyes. They see it with love and understanding and trust. They love people for just being people. And that's the way we need to see other people. And it is our job not just to teach our kids, but to be an example of how to judge a person by who they are, not what they are. If all fathers did this, we could truly make Dr. King's dream a reality. We are our children's compass. In these times, our children need us fathers now more than ever. Now's the time for us fathers to shine, step up and be great pops. As we learned in Lesson 1 of Pops 101, POPS is an acronym that stands for the father being a protector, order keeper, provider, and stabilizer. In Lesson 2 of Pops 101, we discuss fathers as a protector. We discuss how mature, responsible males play an indispensable part in making home, neighborhood, and school safe places for our children. And this starts with not only realizing what a blessing they are, but understanding just how important their well-being is to society as well. In Psalm 127, 3-5, God tells us, "Look, children are a gift of Jehovah. The fruit of the womb is a reward. As arrows in the hand of a mighty warrior, so are the children of one's youth. Happy is the man who has a quiver full of them. He shall not be ashamed when he speaks to enemies at the gate." But with that gift comes a great responsibility to protect that gift from physical, mental, and emotional harm. But is it our responsibility just to protect our kids? We discussed this in the story of the Messiah warriors, whose greeting to one another is Kassarian and Gera, which translates to, "And how are the children?" This is a great story that shows how important children are, not only to our homes, but also to our neighborhoods and our society as well. So are the children well? Sadly, no. Not if they are experiencing family and community violence. 10 million kids a year are exposed to family violence, and even more to community violence. In Lesson 2 of Pops 101, we not only discuss family violence, but we discuss the physical, mental, and emotional effects it has on children. And more importantly, ways to prevent it. In Proverbs 22:6, God tells us, "Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it." This shows that we can protect our children by teaching them what to do if and when they are faced with life's dangerous situations. We do this by having regular safety huddles. We use these safety huddles to identify and neutralize all internal and external threats to your child's and family's well-being. We should have regular safety huddles about chemicals, fires, and electrical issues. Chemicals that we use around the house and to be careful from. What to do if your little brother or sister should maybe ingest some of these chemicals. What to do if there's a fire in the house, especially a grease fire. Electrical things like the waffle getting cut in the toaster. Make sure the kids know not to stick a fork in to try to get it out. Just simple things like that. We also discuss stranger danger and what our kids need to do when they're approached by strangers. The younger the kid, the more trusting they are. We need to make sure that they're aware that not every stranger is a good stranger. We also discuss appropriate touching. Most molestation cases are done by family members or family friends or people that they trust, like counselors, teachers, even people in the church. We have to make sure that they understand what is and what isn't appropriate touching and know that they can trust us to tell us anytime something like that should occur. We also discuss online predators. This is a much bigger issue now and continues to grow as an issue. When you go fishing, you go where the fish are. This is exactly the same thing predators do. They go to the sites that kids frequent. We need to know what our kids are, what sites they're visiting, and we also need to monitor those sites, who they're talking to, and so forth. We discuss that and we go into detail into those things. And lastly, we have bullying. We list bullying last as it is such an increasing problem with our children. Far too many kids are driven to depression and even suicide because of bullying, and some even to homicide. If you look at a lot of the school shootings we've had, many of these are kids that were bullied or ostracized from their other kids, and it's just their way of snapping and they get back. So bullying is a very, very big issue. It seems to have grown more and more generation to generation. Because of this, we felt the need to go more in depth with it. And so we do this by discussing what bullying is, the 2 modes of bullying, the 4 types of bullying, and what to do if you suspect bullying or even if you know there's bullying. And this isn't just with your kid. If it's your kid that your son or daughter knows, we need to make sure that that their parents know, that schools know. We need to protect these children from bullying because the effects of it can be very, very damaging. Now, as you have witnessed my preamble to this video, we are flexible. Though there are topics which exist in every generation of father and child, there are those things in life that become relevant to the time, and we discuss them in our classes as they arise. This was just a quick overview of what we discussed in Lesson 2. I do hope you will join us for this lesson and the rest of our Pops 101 course, along with the other father courses that we offer, by visiting us at urbanlight.org. Thank you, and God bless.